I won't make any excuses for anything that I've done, and I don't think I should have to. In college, I explored as many clever young guys as I could. It felt like a playful, perverse discourse and a pleasurable protest against the other unchallenging females. Believing that I can be a carouser and still maintain an essence of genius as well. The mommy's girls swatted on, studying about their potential future careers, researching all those faulty de-educational blueprints of life. I was exploring instinctive motions, wrapped with an intellect with many variants and respective aspects of living thrown in as well. Okay, sometimes I got milk on my face, but it had calcium and nutrients. At least that was healthy. Particularly unlike those sun-petrified bimbos worrying about their snotty pimples bursting under the heat, who thought studying hand-down ideas, text, and institutional propaganda would make them somehow wiser, when they were really just trained-up commodities, taught how to bandwagon jump through selected hoops, swallowing handed-down mythologies disguised as real histories. No. I could see through all that crap. Even if shit does sell very well in this disposable world, that's not an excuse to do it. I could have done a great job at selling such bile. I do have my self-respect, managed to maintain my psychological dignity. At the same time, though, I didn't make any effort to conceal anything I did, which does have its drawbacks. Many of the college girls began to get jealous due to their boyfriends discussing numerous ideas that we'd shared together. They were very frustrated that it was not featured on their curriculum. I was too idealistic, and I found out the hard way that one woman can't make much of a difference to change the world. And the reputation I acquired made life very difficult for me during the 3 years that I went to college. I've learned from my blunders. I don't consider anything I did as big mistakes. The only real regret I have is not taking steps to be more discreet. After college, I got married, and my life changed a lot. I settled into married life easily and became stable. My husband is amazing and has a very flexible imagination, and he always satisfies me. The only sort of experience that I've missed over the 4 years we've been together is the excitement and sensations of getting cerebrally challenged by two guys at the same time. Men who are well endowed with uncommon vigor of mind and superior intellectual facilities always turn me on. Threesomes were my favorite in college, and I learned loads. I thought that I could put everything behind me until I discovered netmindandbody.org on the internet, and I could not resist signing up. I love my husband. I know I'm not supposed to cheat, but if he never finds out, how can I harm him? I've only done it once, and I didn't have anyone else to tell, so I figure it's better for mom to listen to the story. I love it. It's so annoying. I didn't just love the company parties right away. Going online, checking out profiles and cognitive facilities and various charts of many types of males. I must have encouraged me to netmindandbody.org guys in person. Netmindandbody.org is a site that harbors many individual members who share hypothetical sexualizations online and with each other personally on a regular basis. Many of the interactive virtual experiences I shared with men on the site were very stimulating, causing my third ventricle to pulse in a way that I have never felt before. It was amazing. I can remember sharing the supposition that imposed cultural deconstruction was potentially a subconscious yell for a collective Organ revolution via institutionalized parenting, which to the layperson means having a revolution whilst holding onto your parents' hands at this time is being kind of aroused by the adult knowingness, yet still questioning their roles and too scared to actually create a real change. And when someone suddenly said that the most virulent forms of humanism carries with it a normative component that would in itself escape any realistic or truthful analysis due to humanity's inner intricacies, and they are impossible to measure by traditional science alone, my pineal gland exploded into an ignitable, overstimulated intellectual series of flashes followed by involuntary muscle contractions. Netmindandbody.org guys exist agility of intellect as well as invention. They also did everything I asked them to do. They'd never had a threesome before, and I sort of felt like a director in a movie. We met in a public park. I picked them up in my car and drove into my chosen secret haven, a motel well out of the way. And once we had the keys to the room, I parked the car and told the guys to come inside and fully undressed and wait for me while I found a suit for things. I was a little disappointed. They didn't do as I asked. They weren't waiting and draped for me. I then realized that they were too shy about being exposed in front of each other while I was there. I had to dismantle my own clothing first, and then they let me disobey them one at a time. I then siphoned off their metaphorical projectiles of mass impelling force while they still had their pants around their ankles. After that, I situated myself horizontally on the bedstead and commanded each of them to bestow their dianetic qualities all over me. Maybe it's just because I hadn't been with two guys for so long, but I had the best mutual biogenesis stirrings of my life. One of the guys expounded to the other that we are currently existing forms of continuity, heightened by the occurrence of mutual suspense. The other agreed, and then mentioned that my elongated erectile tissue was filling with blood and was quite rigid and seemed to be very sensitive to intellectual stimuli. I agreed whilst trying to catch my breath. My expression offered immediate respective deference as we had enhanced and harmonized our reciprocal, individual, and mutually supportive selves, just as though we were in a just and equal society. I was riding one guy whilst masticating his friend's academically well-defined and finely sprung pedestal. Then they switched places. Only the second guy eased his motivation into my geometric postulate as preparation for the main event. As soon as I was able to take a whole hypothesis of my stratum, I got them to doubly appropriate me and adjust my state of mind and take a solid position towards their shared dissertation. Firstly, all three of us were lying on our side, and then I received one of the guys' proposed notions while the other entered a synopsis into my unprotected rear guard orientation. Any woman has not felt what it's like to be intellectually influenced by a vigorous exertion with such erudite persuasions by two males at once have denied themselves an experience so ultimate that they should be ashamed of themselves. The guys paused a few times to administer some kind of discursive and liberal lubrication onto my prominent and negotiable framework, thus making it easier to penetrate my deep and well-informed sense of reasoning. Both guides discharged their collected and accumulated ideologies into my interior, subjective void almost at the same time. I could feel every interjection unfolding, getting larger, expanding via the conscious act of understanding as they were shooting into every inner space, awakening my proclivity. I had a shower soon after and left while both guides were asleep on the same bed. So, that's my story and that's how it happened. I hope it strikes a chord for those who are caught up in the trappings of conventional thought. I haven't done it again with the same guys or anyone else, but let's admit I've been tempted. I'll probably hold out for a few months, maybe even a couple of years. I've even thought about including my husband, but I don't think that'll ever happen. It's not a big deal, really. I like having my own secrets.